Good moment, people, Pivians, humans everywhere. This is currently the week of June 10th, 2018. I'm Bryan Dorian, or Snappy as some people know me, and this is another episode of PIVXpress. Well, I hope that you're doing well no matter where you are, and especially in the midst of this somewhat crazy downturn of the markets. Although, if you've been around in crypto for a little bit, this isn't too unexpected. I've been here before, maybe not at this price valuation of Bitcoin or Satoshi. However, we've seen this occur before, from market manipulations to FUD, from countries banning, they're not banning. You know, who makes sense of this stuff? You can dig deeper, you can go into the so-called conspiracy theories of what's going on. We're not going to do that because, again, this is PIVXpress. We keep it light, we keep it informative, and we keep it, somewhat Pivx-centric. So with that, let's jump in. So on the 2018 roadmap, there were 15 really important, critical, big roadmap items that were going to be developed. 5 of those 15 have already been accomplished, and you can take a look at those. Not the least of the perhaps biggest implementations and developments in the PIVX ecosphere to date, zPoS or zPoS, the first proof-of-stake privacy coin, zero coin implementation. That's right. Again, if you have not been looking into PIVX, you can take your PIV, which is the public coin, as you want to call it, convert that into zPIV, which is now private, completely anonymous except for you and knowing how much you have, and then stake it privately and earn zPIV, right? So your reward comes back to you anonymously. So that means anybody looking at the network has no idea how much you have and how much you're earning or your rewards are on that. Pretty cool, right? There's a bunch more features coming. There's a bunch more lined up, enhancing that, perhaps making the time to mint and spend even faster, right? So that's some of the work that's being done by Jonathan Boodle, another one of the PIVX developers and a pioneer of actual zero coin, what you could say the bulletproof protocols and implementation into PIVX. So stay tuned for that. Of course, everyone also is expecting When's ZDEX, right? Not When Moon, When's ZDEX, right? So that is the decentralized exchange, as you want to call it, within the core wallets of PIVX. So that means you'll be able to put in a Bitcoin and back out zPIV. You can iterate how many different implementations and avenues and what that's going to open up for the PIVX network, so stay tuned for that. As always, if you have questions or you want to know more, pop into Discord. There is a development channel. There's a lot of updates going on and a lot of chat. So again, feel free to jump into the community there and keep informed of what's going on. All right, some sneak peeks as well. Of course, everybody loves sneak peeks. Apparently, there is a desktop light wallet. Yeah, what? Yeah, so one of the developers who's involved in the mobile app development has also developed a light wallet for PIVX. So I don't have any other updates of that. There might be some screenshots that pop up around that. You can take a look. However, that apparently is done, being wrapped up, and we can expect that any day. So that's kind of crazy. ZDEX is going to be coming out sometime soon. I'll put that in quotes. The light wallet is basically done and ready to drop. What else? Ledgers, right? The ledger masternodes, you can run your masternodes, take the collateral, put it on a ledger, and run your masternodes. It's incredible, folks. So again, if you don't know any of this stuff and you want to learn more, take a look at the links below, get in the community, ask around, and get involved. All right, updates about events. So right now ongoing, the Money Conference 2020 in Dublin. PIVX is representing there. A few of our members are there. And so we're looking forward to getting updates from them. Again, PIVX is looking at not just crypto events, but other events in the financial, tech, and other industry sectors where PIVX fits, and that's the beautiful thing. Because of how PIVX is designed, it really is cross-sector available, right, as a means of exchange and payment. payment. So take a look. We'll be looking for updates from that. Also, if you have not been informed of it, the PIVX cruise is open, so the details and dates will be below. Go take a look. And one of the founders, 7 Hacks, is actually doing a raffle giveaway for tickets for the cruise. So go take a look at those details as well. If you don't have the funds to get on the cruise, you might be able to actually get on. So go take a look at that. Again, I believe the details. It will be, and I forget the exact dates, I'll put them below because I don't remember and I don't want to misinform you. So again, the PIVX cruise, meet developers, meet some of the community, be a good time, and I believe it backs right up to the BTC Miami conference as well. All right, new exchanges. I don't know if you've seen any of those updates coming out. PIVX is now on trade by trade, and I think there's 1 or 2 other exchanges where PIVX is now on. All right, so increasing that availability for users worldwide, and also hand in hand with that, the merchant adoption is growing as well. So make sure you go check out PIVXplaces.com, and you can take a look at all the realtors and all the online stores or brick and mortar stores that actually accept PIV as payment. So go take a look at that. Something else I wanted to talk about, which some of you may or may not know, good time to talk about it, right? This being PIVXpress anyway. The treasury and the governance model of PIVX. So one of the incredible features of PIVX is that we have our own built-in governance model, which actually directly participates in the disbursement of the treasury, right? So what does that mean? It literally means that PIVX is a self-funded movement, right? So every month, every 30 days, there are what we call a cycle of voting, right? And during those 30 days, proposals get submitted to the network. Now you might say, well, who submits those proposals? Anybody. You, your friend, your grandmom, you know, a Pivian who's been around for a while. Anybody can submit to the network. And what does that mean? It literally means you are in your core wallet putting in a command and saying, hey, PIVX network, this is what I think I could do or we could do. Here's my proposal, right? And if you're asking for funding, then how much you're asking for and for how long. That then goes into the network and it's voted on by our voting mechanism, which currently is the masternode layers, right? How cool is that? So that means you, anybody, can directly participate in the actual direction, the guidance of PIVX, whether it's marketing, development, bounties, support, you name it, right? So if you want to take a look at that, probably the best place to go take a look is you go to the forums and you'll see the governance section and you can read all the proposals that have been put up into the PIVX network, right? So then you can take a look at, oh, this is what PIVX is doing, or this is what the community is doing. Maybe I can get involved, right? So I highly encourage you to take a look at that because that's a huge part of, well, this project, right? So PIVX, being private instant verified transaction, boasts on having the best, if not some of the best tech in privacy and in cryptography on the market today, right? So compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges, you look at what PIVX has to offer in that realm, and it's incredible. And then you turn over here and you go, oh, but it also has this incredible built-in governance technology where it's incredibly more decentralized than a lot of the crypto projects that are out there. And then you can start to argue, well, is it really decentralized or not? And I go, it's steps, folks. Yeah, we all have this euphoric ideology of what could be. And then I look at PIVX and other crypto projects, and it's like in different ways, they're all making steps towards that. And PIVX excels at that. So I highly recommend you go take a look, get involved, ask questions if you don't know what's going on, because if you think about it, that's restoring power back to you as the individual, to have a voice, to speak up, to put proposals in of what you feel or what you see the network should go. So again, that is the governance treasury model, and we'll be talking more about that, and I'll put links below as well.